Hi, I'm Timmy Hayes. Welcome to my channel. This is mainly a music channel where I post my music videos and songs that I create. Occasionally, I make these little vlog type videos where I just kind of talk about whatever's on my mind at the moment. So, I felt suddenly compelled to talk about the nature of love. So, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. No, but seriously. Um, I've been thinking a lot about. So I was just watching How I Met Your Mother, and this guy's like, "Oh, I've been in love with this girl for 5 years," and it's a girl he never even dated, right? Just a girl he likes from his work. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that's love. That's like obsession or infatuation. It's not love. To me, what love is something that people grow together, like a beautiful flower, and it takes both parties to water it together. If only one person is watering it, they might the plant's gonna die. Or if there's all kinds of ways you can use this metaphor. Both parties can overwater it and kill it, or not enough, blah blah blah. But it takes both people, or maybe you're into polyamory, and that's a different subject. I'm gonna focus on a monogamous relationship, right? Two people, whatever genders. I don't know. I don't care. Just two people love. We're bombarded with ideas of romance from an early age. Falling in love at first sight and blah blah blah. I found it funny that when Frozen, the Disney movie, came out, they actually made fun of the Disney trope of falling in love at first sight. I remember the main character, I forget her name, Anna, or I think Anna, the not the one with the powers, but when she said she fell in love with the guy, her sister was like, "You just met him. What are you doing?" And I see it now, even with people in my peer group who are, much older than me. They get hung up on someone, and it's like what they're feeling isn't real love. It can be because I've felt it too. I've felt it many times where there's someone I felt a deep attraction to. I met them and they said something that I found attractive. They had qualities, and I fantasize about the potential of our relationship and a future together, and then things don't work out, and I feel devastated, and it's like, oh, that's not really love, though. That's, like I said, infatuation or obsession, or there's something missing within yourself that you're trying to fill with another person. And that's, it sounds cliche, but find happiness within yourself, man. And you can't love someone until you love yourself. It's true. It is. And the reason why that is because the job of another person is not to fulfill you. It is not to be obligated to meeting your fantasies. And yeah, there's people who say like, "Oh, I want marriage and children and stuff." Well, you can have children without getting married. There's all kinds of options. What they want is this idea of structure, family, right? And that is what people mainly do. That it's a good thing that there's families and children and marriage. It's as far as having children, it's not something that interests me, but it's a beautiful thing, right? So the nature of love, and I'm talking about romantic love mainly, but we can veer off and talk about other things. Like there is mutualism, that is to say, there has to be synchronicity for love to occur, unless like toxic love and poisonous bad love, like these kind of things, like I'm going to say that they are a degraded version of what love should be. Like we're talking about true love is here, and then there's these bastardized versions of it, like abusive relationships. I remember I read a short story where these characters are drinking gin around a table, and this woman's talking about how her ex-husband used to drag her out in the street and beat her, and when he would get jealous, and she said like, oh, but that was still the way he loved me, and no one's loved me as much as him. Well, okay, I can kind of see the logic in that. Like, he felt an extreme possessiveness for her and wanted to confine her by any means possible, and even threatened to kill himself over her. And we can say like he valued whatever he had with her over his own life, or even over acting civilized or nonviolent, right? It's a warped way, a warped, dangerous way of looking at things, but let's play devil's advocate for a moment. However, I'm going to say that's toxic abusive love. That's what it is. If you want to call it love, fine, but it's not true real love, because what true real love is, it takes time. A plant doesn't grow in a day. You have to nurture and nourish and grow it, and at any moment, if it's not getting what it needs, it'll die. So like what real love is and requires, it takes commitment. First of all, you have to be in it together and for each other. It takes compromise, because everyone's different. No two people are going to come together. We are all from different places. We all are different people. No one's going to come together and want the exact same things and look at everything the same way. So there always has to be sacrifice and compromise. You have to work together for one another. And that's another thing. Real love takes wanting to make life better for both of you. Yeah, you have to prioritize yourself too, but you have to prioritize the relationship as well. And you become like together, not as a single entity or organism, no, because you're still individuals, but you are within a system called the relationship, right? You're coupled together, you're entwined together. And what real love is seeking to strengthen and protect that. That's love. And that takes time and effort, and relationships are a lot of hard work. That's why, like, I'm watching this sitcom and he's like, I've been in love with that girl for 5 years, and he never even dated her. No, he just observed her from afar and saw potential in her and was like, she seems like she could be a suitable partner for me based on what I've idealized about her and due to what I've observed in her. I've felt that. I'm sure you have too. That's not love. That's liking someone. That's infatuation. So when I was, and I talked about this in my last video, I've felt this before. When I was 18, there was someone I was heavily infatuated with, and I went off on this whole fantasy. I imagined an island that I ran away with her to, and we had a bunch of kids, and we lived on this magical island, and we were jumping around super happy together. And we were never dating. I mean, I'm not going to say there was nothing between us, because there was a little something between us, but we never dated. And then years down the line, some stuff happened, and I lost contact, and whatever. But stuff happened down the line. We got back in touch years later, 5 years later. And during those 5 years, I was really hung up on the idea of her and this idealized version of her and this island. And we got in touch 5 years later, and I remember being so disappointed, because like this image I had built of her in my head, like, it wasn't her, because she's a real person. Real people are not fantasies or idealized versions of them. Yeah, it's always important to look at what reality is really presenting to you. And what I'm trying to do these days is Because I realized then I wasn't looking for a partner. I was looking for an escape because I was unhappy. I was unhappy with my life and the way I was living, and I thought that, think about it. Like, I was picturing running away to a perfect island where I had everything I wanted, which included a beautiful woman that I was really into, who seemed into me. So I thought I was over that, and it happened again not long ago. It wasn't as extreme of a fantasy, but like a few months ago, there was someone I briefly had something with. I'm gonna say dated, but we weren't in a relationship. Um, you know, 10 years has passed, almost 10 years since I was 18, so I'm much more mature now. So I didn't get carried away in my fantasies or anything like that, but I did find myself fantasizing about a future with this person, and I would have to check myself, like, don't get carried away with your fantasies. And I've kind of pictured the same kind of thing, like having a home later in Santa Barbara, California, where I want my dream home, and a Korean style garden. And, this person, they would paint pictures and I would strum a guitar and it would be very romantic and we'd be safe and happy together. And then I was like, damn, I'm getting like caught up in these fantasies. And I tend to do that a lot when I meet someone that I like. And I guess this was the first person I've liked in a long time. Um, so I had to check myself and really look at what reality was presenting me with. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be like when I was 18 and get stuck on someone for 5 years. So I looked at what reality was showing me, and what it was showing me was, in truth, me and this person were not compatible. It was not, you know, there was something very wrong with whatever was between us, and I realized that, and I said we should not meet anymore, and that was that. It was very clean, and everyone's adults here. But I felt deeply saddened because I felt I had lost something, and it wasn't the person. I mean, the person, they're attractive, they're cool, whatever, but there's a lot of attractive and cool people. It was the fantasy of running away and finding a perfect place. And although it's not as extreme of a fantasy I used to have, I did realize that I am still deficient in myself, that I'm still looking for, like, running away. And what I realized is, like, although I am a lot better than 10 years ago, it's this idea that I need something, right? That I don't have everything I need already. And what I realized, and I know it seems like unconnected, because it's like, okay, looking for romantic fulfillment, it shouldn't relate to this, but what I realized was I feel unsuccessful because I'm putting out music, and I'm putting out music videos, and I feel like whenever I post something on, like, any social media site, like, let's say Reddit or something, my stuff usually just gets ignored or downvoted, and it's hard to deal with that. It's like I put like everything, a lot of time and effort, and like pieces of my soul into this stuff that I'm creating. And I realize that I feel unhappy because I feel like no one's listening. And then this idea that I could give up music, because I had that thought. Like, if I meet this person and we run away together, then I can give up on my dreams of being a recognized musician or whatever. And that's where we circle back to what I said. You got to love yourself before you have real love. And I realized, like, I haven't been showing myself the love I deserve, because look, I'm doing all of this myself, like the music and shit, and it's not easy. None of it's easy. And I've put my whole life into it, and whether someone recognizes that or not is not important. Yes, it would be nice, but I have to measure my success against myself. So if you look back at the first music video I posted versus the ones I've created since then, you'll see progress. Like each thing gets better. Or, the music I first started making, it's definitely going up. So I'm actually quite successful, and I'll continue being successful because I'll continue learning and making things better. So actually, when I have that mindset, it's like my need to abandon my dreams and run off somewhere with visceral comforts or romantic comforts, it gradually subsides. And I feel much better about life and myself and what reality presents me with. So it seems disjointed what I've talked about. I'm not sure if I'm articulating things in a really in a way that's conducive to understanding, but basically what I'm saying is that hot feeling when you meet someone hot and sexy and they seem cool, that's just the door to love. But you have to go through the door and find the real version of love that requires both of you to grow together. And that's the only way love can grow is through a lot of work and time and effort on both ends with both people. And initial attraction does not equate to compatibility, not long-term, not real compatibility. And finding happiness and a sense of fulfillment within yourself will be reflected in your reality. That is to say, first you must grow the flower within yourself before you can grow a flower with someone else, is what I'm saying. So, stuff to think about. These videos mainly just, I like to think that people watching this can get something out of it. But yeah, I don't have many subscribers, I'm almost at 100 now, which is nice to see. Like, I think most of them are people I know personally, in which case, what's up? Thanks for watching. But I like to think people get something out of hearing me ramble on about stuff. But yeah, mainly my mind feels like really full all the time, and just like my thoughts are always like a storm jumbling around. So I have to do things to organize my thoughts. So talking like this, it helps calm the storm. It helps like clean the mess of my mind. And that's what creating music or videos does too. It's like this enormous pressure builds up in my head and my heart, and I have to do something where I explode. So I've gained something by talking about this, and I hope you have too. Emotions, I talk about love a lot. Love and death and anguish and pain and looking for meaning in life. I talk about these things a lot because these are the main things that drive me. We're pieces of the universe. We're parts of a whole thing. We're images in a painting that's part of a greater mosaic. And it's startling to realize that we're here, we're alive. And as individuals, as Timmy Hayes and as you, it's like, whoa, what am I doing here? What drives me? Why do I live? And what am I living for? And how do I make sense of things? Well, I guess this is the video blog, the vlog. It's like a journaling, and I think of my music and poetry as kind of I'm making a map of my inner world, and hopefully people can gain something out of my map as I have gained from others and their maps. So, thanks for listening, and peace out.